lot of early game pressure. Looks like we're going to actually get a look at what was banned as well, with heroes like Zusin and Zask even making an appearance in the ban list.
Oh wow, I'm really surprised by the Zask ban. But considering Bigatron Beta's draft right now, they have the Ruby, Valentina, Roger, as well as Edith. These are, I would say, initiative compositions, right? Like they go in for the first jump, and if one Zask just pops on ultimate, the initial jumps gets completely demolished. So I like the idea they're just taking away all the toolkits away from RSGPH if they decide to kind of drag it off. In this case, having this Aurora pick is unique because it does two things. One, buy time. Two, set up a stage where if they commit to this fight, RSGPH is just going to completely destroy the first jump coming from BTR.
Yeah, we see that BTR, they have Ruby, they have Edith, they have Roger. They're basically a team composition that wants to run at you. They're the ones that want to control the momentum of the team fight. And they have a solid amount of CC to be able to catch heroes like the Fanny as well. And that is why having heroes like Aurora is a really good way of counteracting that, because it just provides so much zone control when combined on top of that penalty zone.
More than
they bring in the Julian. Okay, I kind of dig this.
Julian Jungle. That is what I want to see from the side of Bigatron Beta. Then we've got all of these drafts coming out. So I would like to quickly ask ICBB as well as Sadafa before I head off, which team, or rather which draft do you much prefer?
I like RSGPH draft a little bit more.
Yeah, I think RSGPH's draft is more fun to watch. Bigatron Beta's draft is probably easier to play overall, but we know RSG, right? They're a team that's worth watching for a reason.
I would always want to take a look at it, kind of like an underdog situation. Bigatron Beta definitely do have a pretty good answer as to how they want to deal with a Fatty. And ultimately, throughout everything, Bigatron Beta, they also have a superior early game advantage. And that is absolutely something that I would want to see. Would the pick-off style from the side of RSGPH be able to triumph against Bigatron's Beta super explosive early game power with the Edith, the Roger, as well as the Julian? We are going to be diving right into the very first game between RSGPH versus Bigatron Beta.
Yep, and we are going to be jumping straight into a pause. Thank you so much, Abstract here. It looks like it's going to be me and Staffa are going to be taking over the casting desk here. But as of yet, this is going to be a very interesting one here. Staffa, I really like the animation. Like they had the front view, top view, the heroes just kind of staring against each other. That was like some intense anime fight scene moment right there.
Like actually, right, those who are keeping closer attention, especially to the hero models, may notice that they're a lot higher quality than we're used to as well, right? Yesterday, we were here for rehearsal. We were looking at them set all of this up on the screens in our restroom, and we were just looking at the heroes up close and realizing, whoa, okay, the models look so much better than they used to.
Yeah, I agree. And as of now, I think Bigatron Beta, in their faces here, they have two big problems they have to worry about, right? Like, number one, how do they kind of slow the tempo coming from Fanny? Number two would be dealing with the Harif eventually, because these are two heroes that will scale out of control if you do not stop them in the early phase. So what do you think is going to be the strategy to actually deal with this? Like, do they play safe or do they play aggressive? What is it, Staffa?
So the thing is, when it comes down to Bigatron Beta's draft, they really need to be the ones setting the tempo. Basically, as I mentioned during the draft, they gotta be the ones starting fights, they gotta be the ones in control of the map, because the Fanny is a massive issue. Yes, it's a difficult hero to play. I don't think it should be a problem for RSG. And once it gets snowballing, the Sky Piercer just makes her an infinite threat in the Land of Dawn. When you have heroes like an Edith, like a Ruby, you really need to be creating pressure straight away to make sure that this Fanny isn't able to snowball, to make sure that the Harif doesn't get a free lane. Because interestingly enough, neither of these lineups particularly scale super well into the late stages. These are both early to mid-game lineups, so we're going to see a lot of action right from the beginning.
Yeah, speaking of actions as well, because as of yet, I do see that, you know, we obviously both of us are kind of leaning on towards RSGP's draft, right? Like, they have early tempo control, they have a very, I would say, early game eccentric composition that can just kind of snowball their way through into this game. So if BTR Beta were to try and make a comeback, I think when it comes to these scenarios, BTR Beta, they have to get a very, very good jump on towards Nats. And on towards Light in particular. And right now, he is in a prime position to just shut them all down. Or maybe not. What do you think?
Well, I mean, he got Cho, right? We didn't really highlight this enough during the draft phase, but Light got his signature Cho. And looks like we will jump right in here. This is a hero he has been known to play for a very, very long time. So, should be very effective. I'm pretty sure the reason they drafted it at the end as well was just to make sure that BTR wouldn't have an easy way to lock down Irad.
Yep, and so far Irad as well as Washipao, they've got matching timings in terms of their jungle rotation. And I'm pretty sure they are going to be trying to rush the Sky Piercer as early as they can. And once they get that Sky Piercer is going to completely affect the momentum that they want to dictate in this fight. And that's something that I think BTR is starting to realize, that they are prioritizing on Washipao's rotation now. Look at this. He's close to level 4. He might be looking for a gank, but still doesn't seem to be able to steal off a creep away from RSGPH.
Around this timing, around, we would say, like 20 seconds before the turtle spawns is going to be a very important timing window for both these teams, because that is where Irad wants to start looking for a lane that they can gank. In this case, it would usually be something like the mid or EXP lane by default, but since there's an Edith in the EXP lane, very easy to counter to that, they go for the gold lane instead, and Pin is able to escape that.
Well, speaking of which here, seems like they are going to play a little bit slow as well. They're trying to get those fours up before the first turtle fight. It seems like Qsei going to be hanging around a little bit. That's going to be gold lane. They are trading 50-50. It's nothing super crazy. Light a little bit far off from his 4, so he did not clear off the entire mid lane by himself. So that means they will be slightly behind on getting those level 4s here, probably waiting on Irad to secure this purple buff, and seems to me he is going to get it right now. Naxu not almost hitting the 4 as well. They are going to start the fight immediately, go for the jump, the gun, but Aurora with the big ultimate here sets it up for Irad. 4 men out, immediately they get first blood, double kill now for Irad, and now Bigatron Beta, they have Washipao kind of stranded as well, not able to trade off at all. Gets completely demolished here. A fraction of a second coming from RSGPH.
This is what you call absolute demolition from RSG and a disaster for Bigatron. I like that they make the decision to go on the aggressive to try and catch someone out before the first turtle fight starts, because again, they have a lot of CC. They need to be the ones starting fights, picking people off first. Unfortunately, they went on Nibor, and we know what the body of this myth can do. He was alive on a very low amount of HP.
Yep, and as of now, out of nowhere, Irad, they set up a fight here. Light catches up Zerusi immediately with the Fanny. They just destroy him. And look at this, RSGPH, they finally got the first tempo, 4-0 in their favor, and they're looking to try and get more out of this.
And if RSG Philippines is able to get early game tempo with a draft like this, which they already have, they will control the game until the 10th minute. This is instantly Bigatron having to play defensive to make sure that they don't give too much advantage over. Because Irad is already 3-0. He went for Heptases. I actually think he didn't go for Sky Piercer first, unless he already has 2 items, in which case Bigatron is in even deeper trouble than I thought.
Oh boy, that's going to be a little bit of a problem here. But of course, Bigatron Beta, they may have lost the mid lane as well as the jungle rotations here. It's still up to his Pen to kind of trade even here and hopefully try to make a comeback out of this. But look at this, no lane. BTR, they set up a 3-man gang here. Light showing himself he is trying to bait out rotations. Guess what? Here comes the bait. They're going for the kick. Naxu almost losing his life right there, but the counter kick from Zerusi. Can they burst Irad down? No, they do not have enough damage here. Washipao dropped his spell to disengage, not able to contribute even more in that fight.
We have to note, RSG Philippines draft has a few high mechanic heroes, right? They have Cho, they have Fanny, they have Harif. This is a harder draft to play in comparison, but you could see how easy it was for Light to sidestep with the Shunpo to avoid the I'm offended from Naxu, then Irad even surviving the way of the dragon as well. RSG Philippines are out microing their opponents right now, and because of the momentum they have, they're out macroing as well.
Yep, but as of yet, BTR, they're trying to bait out the turtle as quickly as they can. Purple buff still not available yet from the side of RSGPH, but they're still poking their way through. Mars is taking a little bit too much damage here. Nibor immediately going for the penalty zone, but turtle secure from BTR. They back off and they reset this fight. So this is a huge one for BTR Beta.
Small win, but instantly you see Kusi win the 1v1 down bottom. Now, what actually happened in that turtle fight, Irad was at bottom lane trying to get a kill on Pin before joining the turtle fight, and that's why Bigatron had the numbers advantage and were able to get that objective for themselves. Unfortunately, they still don't quite have the same mobility that RSG has, so they're not able to find any sort of advantage with it. It's only a small win for them in the grand scheme of things.
Well, it is going to be a little bit tough one here. BTR, they were hoping that Pin is going to be able to set the tempo, but RGPH, they understand the game plan, right? First game, win the middle lane, and then, BTR's Beta's only next step of comeback plan is going to be relying on Pin, sets up another gang down bottom, sacrificing the fact that, hey, Fanny is going to be a little bit late with purple buff, so there's no point contesting second turtle. And I like how they're just trading very, very efficiently here coming from RGPH, understanding their timings very, very well.
The difficulty here for Bigatron Beta is that RSG just has a very complete lineup. It's difficult to play on paper, but if played well, is very difficult to deal with because they have mobility in Irad, they have team fight in Nibor, they have kickoff in Light. So whether Bigatron wants to split up the fight or fight together, RSG has an answer.
Well, speaking of an answer here, BTR still focusing on the middle lane, making sure that turret stays still. But this time, they're making sure that Pin doesn't get ganked. Iraj shows himself here. He's down to his half energy, so he might be in a little bit of trouble. Can he find an escape? Yes, he can. Marzi, barely a pixel, almost catching him, but he somehow gets out. And because of this commitment here, Kusei says, hey, guys, no one's up top. Tier 2 is mine. And RSGPH gets even more objectives across the map.
Irad demonstrating to the world that he's fully capable of standing up. Oh my goodness.
What a kick from Light. Instant wombo combo. Marzi, no Purify, cannot get out from the chain stuns. RSGPH just taking advantage that they have this better firepower right now.
RSG just maintaining control, like I mentioned. Bigatron just basically has no chance of fighting back until at least the 10th minute, and that's only if they're able to maintain a certain degree of net worth difference, which RSG is not allowing, right? They know they're in control. They're not going to allow Bigatron any space to make plays.
Oh my goodness, a penalty zone to catch on Natsu under turret here. They take a little bit of damage. They need to get out. The scythe coming from Washipao starting to hurt a little bit, but they just cannot find the finisher. Nibor narrowly escapes this. BTR now left on a whim with nothing once more.
Here's where you see the problem with Bigatron's draft a little bit. They just don't have any way of trying to out or counterplay RSG Philippines. And we can see the goal difference really starting to add up somewhat. Looks like Pin is going for that Thunderbelt into Windtalker. A little bit of a unusual build here because you would usually get one or the other on Roger. But I don't think it matters too much to them because they need to find a way out of this.
It's such a greedy build, right? Having Thunderbelt like early game doesn't really contribute that much. It needs time to scale. It's kind of like an Aldous, right? It gives you a little bit of items here, but over time they need to drag this as long as they can to build out infinite stacks. But so far, they don't really have opportunities to actually poke their opponents. And RGPH now finds for a hit and run. They drive by, they get in for the kick. They don't even give them the chance to build up those stacks. And RGPH just completely shuts them down once more.
Yeah, the damage difference is a bit too high at this point. We can see, like looking at the items actually even, RSG are able to build so greedy. There's no Sky Piercer on Irad. Nibor went for Queen's Wings as first item on the Terizla because he knows he doesn't need anything else. And the rest are just completely fine. Aqua having that glowing wand as well as...
Penalty zone misses. Marzi doing some serious damage here, but here comes the finisher from Irad. He gets first on the first kill. And now they're looking for a double. Naksu also falling here. Salmon Force dropped down. Aurora's out. Everybody's got the back out. And BTR, they just can't seem to commit to the fight at all. There's just no room to breathe to actually push RSG back at all.
When you're dealing with Light on a show, you need to make sure that your team lineup isn't too scattered because it'll be very easy for RSG to pick you off. The problem is if you group together, then you're also playing into Aqua and Nibor. This is the problem. This is what I was worried about. This draft from RSG is really complete. And Bigatron needed to win early game in order to have any sort of comparison. And well, as we already know, that did not happen.
Oh boy, this is gonna take some time here. Coming from BTR Beta, they need to find an opening pick, but they have been playing so defensive. And look at this, Light, once again, trying to force out reactions here. One pixel off, and they are gonna commit. Ebor now with the penalty zone, preemptively catching 3, and now they get 2. In this case, Naxu will fall. RSGPH once again goes for the hit and run every single time with the Way of the Dragon up on Light.
Yeah, that is a play that should ordinarily be punished, going for a flicker ult when the enemy team is all together and ready to dish out damage. Only works because RSG are in so much control. And unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, this is a total outclassing here by RSG. Bigatron Beta is just standing no chance against their opponents in this game.
Well, they still have the shields down middle, but I don't think it's going to matter that much here. Light made a little bit of mistake here. They're going for the eye movement, the first mistake, and they are going to capitalize. They get Light, they get Nibor. Double kill for Washi Paul. BTR finally finds the pixel perfect moment here to catch Light before he shumpos out of there. What a catch from Naxu.
Would you call that a caster curse?
Oh boy, it might be, but in this case, Iran, he's gonna try 1v4. Guess what? He gets 1. He almost gets a second, but can he survive this? Glowing 1 picking him off, and he is gonna be fine for now. Even equalizes for the team once more.
Even retries a minion just to get that extra little bit of HP to make sure he doesn't burn down. Irad showing the world right now that he's fully capable of assassin gameplay just as good as his previous participant here. Yeah, his predecessor. Thank you very much.
Oh, in this case, purple orange buff coming in. RG still going to be body checking again, trying to set up a little bit tempo. They're slowing down the aggression, but BTR, they're having a little bit more confidence now. In this case, RG, they're a little bit more wary of Naxu's positioning now. So Light now gonna play this a little bit safe, but as of now, with no Lord 35 seconds, I don't think they should be committing this fight. But speaking of commitment here, Iran, mistakes were made. BTR finds an opening, and they are gonna punish this. This is huge for BTR.
I was literally just about to say that BTR just need to be able to find Irad. It's difficult because he's been playing so well, but the moment I'm thinking that, it happens. And now, RSG has actually given up a good amount of gold swing back over to Bigatron Beta, which is enabling them to play a lot more aggro.
Well, Conceal plays up on Irad 10 seconds before he comes back online. Lord is already spawned here. It's going to be a 4v5, but they have to wrap this up quickly. RSG, they're going to try and buy a little bit more time before Irad spawns his way through here, but do they commit? Seems like they do. The penalty zone comes in, they catch on too, they go in for the wombo combo, but they just don't have the finisher. Marzi is able to trade one back as well. Kuze finds one. It is going to be 1-for-1, but Irad going to be joining in very, very soon. He steals the Lord from behind! Space created by the team, sacrificing two, but BTR now is going to try and clean up the rest of RSGPH. Double kill for Washi Paul. They trade 3 heroes for a Lord, and BTR Beta bounces back from this game.
We are seeing a reversal here, and it shows that snowballs can be reversed in an instant because of that kill bounty on Irad. Bigatron trying to push in here.
Oh boy, Kusei now drops the Xamin Force. BTR Beta getting full control in one good fight in this case. I don't know what to feel about this. Like, the Thunderbelt greed coming from Marzi as well as Pin is starting to pay off now. 13 minutes of the game.
Mind you, Thunderbelt is not an uncommon item for Roger. It is a very viable build to go Thunderbelt. It's just you usually don't get Windtalker as a second item after that. But Pin is trying to go for that late game scaling because he already realizes that the early game did not go well for them. So they have to play around the timing where heroes like Irad and Kusi are going to start falling off just a little bit. Because with Edith and Roger, Bigatron do actually have a slightly better late game phase as compared to RSGPH.
You know, I like how Abstract has been bringing up this fact, right? Micro or macro. This is a perfect example of a macro versus micro game. RSGPH macro, BTR micro, and so far BTR has such a strong team fight right now, especially in the later stage of the game. And in this case, you can even see RGPH is just so afraid, not knowing how much damage they can deal with this Thunderbelt involved, because they have so much stacks up on Pin, they have so much stacks up on Marzi, and we saw earlier as well, they just couldn't burst Marzi in time, and they were able to get a reverse fight.
Bigatron have a lot of damage, yes, but I think the main factor of winning is actually their positioning. In that previous fight, Bigatron were not trying to aggress, they were not trying to go for a pickup, they were actually playing for peel because they know RSG has this tendency to want to jump in.
Oh, I'm offended, catches the light, not exactly the right target here. Counter penalty zone to punish the back lines. Naxu gonna be the first to fall, killing spree for Kusei, and they are gonna make their first mistake here. They thought they could make a comeback, but RSGPH is able to pick the part apart, but Washipo! He wins his 1v1! And in one fell swoop, RSGPH, they were scrambling. It looked good for Kusei, but BTRB wins their 1v1s scatterly. What a catch from BTR.
The thing is, BTR is understanding that RSG's draft is starting to drop off a little bit. And you can see that the way they're approaching their fights is they are basically treating Marzi and Naxu as necessary sacrifices. They are going to jump in front. They're going to bait ultimates, bait damage. And you can see just there is a layering here from BTR. The only person that could jump on pin was Light. And there wasn't enough people to follow up on it to finish him off.
Oh, I think this was a big mistake coming from RGPH, right? Like, they understood that, hey, maybe, you know, Irad, you can do your 1v1s here. They separated here. They just let Washipao through. And because of that scatter, they allowed Washipao to kind of win his 1v1s and then just allow the rest of the team to kind of buy time. And because of this, they were able to trade 50-50s. And now, economy-wise, they are going to start the fight once more. Penalty zone comes in. Washiball wins the Lord Retry battle this time, but they have to get out to safety. RGBH, they're waiting for the Fanny. Irad getting stopped by the I'm offended. Nibor, they find Naxu. Irad finds Zerusi, but now RGBH, they want more. They want blood. Washipal trying to buy a little bit more time, but they cannot take Light down. So that's going to be a mistake from BTR Beta, but Lord in their hands. And it seems like it is one full swing coming from both sides.
All things considered, I think Bigatron actually did a very good job of retreating from that fight. Oh, hold on here. That's a bit
No way!
That is a flying wolf right there, ladies and gentlemen. Irad gonna get picked off. RSG trying to end the game right now, forcing it.
They have to do this. They have to drop everything here. Washipal, they have to clear the minutes. They manage to get it as well. Immortality comes in. Can he get out? No, he cannot. But the job is done. They successfully defend this. They clear the minutes. RSGP, they have to reset the tempo. Unless Pin, he wants to go for a fight. Aqua, okay, they don't find him. But BTR, they're still holding on for this game one.
Yeah, sacrificing Washipal there to survive in the game is definitely worth it. And we are seeing the reason why Bigatron Beta has made it this far. I am loving the discipline we're seeing from this team. The understanding that sacrifices have to be made, that certain actions have to be done in order to make sure that RSG isn't given back the momentum that they so carelessly threw away.
Well, sometimes a good defense is a good offense here. They have been playing with their backs against the wall for the longest of time. BTR Beta is biting back. RGPH now, you have to be a little bit more careful now. They need to be aware of what Naxu can bring to the table as of yet. Because technically, you can see Naxu is 0-9-7, but this is a Ruby we're talking about. Late game, extremely difficult to kill, especially if you don't have Sky Piercers.
I don't really think Sky Piercer is the item that would make the difference here.
That's the thing, right? Ruby low health is very, very difficult, right? When we talk about last HP moments, clutch moments,
that's if you're
Sky
going
Piercer's counters that.
That's if you're going for a damage build with Queen's Wings.
True.
Naxu is not going for that build. He's going for tank, Dominance Ice, Athena's into Immortality. He does not have that thing. Therefore, you don't want Sky Piercer. You want things like Malefic, which Irad already has. So they don't need to worry too much about that. What they need to worry about is that Naxu, his job in the fight.
Oh no, Pin! He's taking a little bit of damage here. Irad can't seem to burst him above them, but they need to get out. Naxu trying to buy a little bit more time. Penalty zone catches 3 of them. Marzi gonna be falling right there. Here comes a second kick coming in. BTR, they're losing members. Marzi manages to get out, but they still lose Naxu. No, on the contrary, they also lose Naxu. They only trade me more, so it's gonna be a 2-for-1. Favoring RSGPH. Defense is down. Do they continue? But it seems like playing safe is going to be the way to go. Lord is going to be the picture. But nope, I was wrong. They're trying to catch on Washipo. Once again, you can see Light trying to stop him in his tracks in case he tries to steal the Lord.
Yeah, this is most likely going to be a free Lord here. I don't think Bigatron will be able to get close enough. They may... Hold on.
No way, no way. They actually find him. Washi Ball, he needs to get out. Ice Crown comes in. Can he get out? No, he cannot. He gets bursted down. BTR, they're trying to hold on, but Kusei is just so strong. They're fighting under the Salmon Force. And a double kill for Iran. They wrapped up. They completely resetted the Lord and say, let's just wipe them out. And that's just what RSGPH just did right there.
Yeah, that's a mistake from Bigatron. They really did not need to go for that. Hold on a second here.
Oh my goodness, what am I watching here? Kusei, he's getting a little bit taller damage here, but he's got so much shields. He's trying to bait out a fight for Aqua. He drops the ultimate, but where's the damage? They're just poking and poking. They're so low, and BTR Beta, they have to clear the minions, and again, another turret will fall into the hands of RGPH.
That was really nice timing, actually. You saw Aqua, he timed his freeze for after the Earth Shatter from Marzi, so he couldn't combo with Onward. Because if that had actually landed, then Kusei would have actually died to the tower. And this is a 6-0 13 Harif. They cannot afford to give away his gold bounty. The whole point is that the gold bounty from Irad is what allowed Bigatron to come back into this situation. So despite some mistakes so far, RSG Philippines still keeping their wits about them. And now with the Lord in their hands, Bigatron will have a very difficult defense on their hands.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting this right from the get-go. This is SPS day one. You can see the fight, the aggression, the intensity that BTR Beta is trying to bring to the table. Like, they're giving RGPH a run for the money right from get-go, but hopefully they are going to be able to hold on for now with the Lord crashing in 21 minutes here. They have to clear this very, very quickly here. Here comes RGPH, penalty zone, connects on 4. They need to get out here. Aurora out just wiping the floor. Iraq cleans house. It might be over. It seems to be over as well. They're losing all their members. Crystal is exposed, and RSGPH takes game 1, 28-12 against BTR.
Gotta give props to Nibor. He is finding those penalty zones every single time. He is the initiation for RSG Philippines, even with Light on that show. And unfortunately, despite their best efforts, Bigatron Beta were not able to defend against that full force, all-in push from RSG. And that is how they will claim victory in game number 1.